All right. I think in the history of my channel, I last read something in Brandon Sanderson's The Strmlght archives back with, I think it's Oathbreaker, which is a novella in the series. Um, and I may have talked about the book before this, where they're kind of get stuck in the kind of a nether world, a kind of a weird what the fuck world, which we're just like, okay, this is a big kind of sidetrack in this story, and we finally got back into the real world, and we had a exciting battle at the end. But I think that was like, god damn it, like 2.5, 3 years ago. And now I have gotten the audio for book number 4 in the Strmlght archives by Brandon Sanderson. And these are gigantic, chunky books, which are apparently going to be 2 sets of 5 gigantic, chunky books. So this is number 4, and then there will be a number 5. Now, the thing with this is they're insanely complicated, involuted series, which I've been, it's one of these things like, okay, either you go back and you reread all the books that came before, which I swear to God, if I did, I would get through 1.5 and then have to take a break and then forget it all again and have to go back again. Or you go online like I did and listen to summations, and some of it stuck and some of it kind of rekindled stuff. We're on this weird kind of alien world, which has got, very harsh things retreat into themselves because it gets so, fucking hardcore there. There's all these kind of crab-like-ish creatures and stuff like that. There's the parchment. And then there's just human beings, which seem very out of place. And indeed, they are kind of not native to this world, but have become a part of it. And there's been weird spirit creatures who kind of revisit this world every couple of, it's like millennia or something like that, and there's wars and things like that. And at the opening of the very first book, this king gets assassinated by this assassin, and these parchmen who aren't dumb get blamed for it, but most all the other parchmen are just, they're dumb and they get used as slaves. There's is it Kaladin? There's the brother, there's the brother of the king guy who's secretly hot for the king's widow. There's is it Kaladin? I can't remember it. Kaladin, who is sort of who is a young, who started off as a surgeon, but then ended up becoming a soldier, won a shard blade. You can win shard blades, which are things which have, like, you get them and you get shard armor, and you're basically kind of super powerful warriors in this armor stuff. But asshole high lord guy, because Kaladin has dark eyes. I think it's dark eyes. One of the two. This is how the kind of division of kind of social classes is by your eye color. And I think he's got dark eyes, and it's like, oh, no dark eye can have this, so he gets done in and turned into a kind of a slave in the army and bridgeman, and he is pretty kick-ass in that, and gets them to bridge number 4 to kind of do all sorts of battles. And things like that. And he discovers powers with Spren. There's all these sort of Spren. This is a part of this world where there's like Spren of different anger Spren and sadness Spren and all this stuff. And he's got a little Spren that seems to kind of just hang out with him, that's got a personality. And he kind of works up and he levels up and he gets lots of powers, and soon he does get shard plate back and something like that. And he's guarding the king, the brother who became the king. There's a woman who's sort of a dope. She's very much more kind of sciencey. She is really good at drawing things, very photographic memory like. Wants to steal some sort of a necklace that's going to be able to kind of, help her family get like lots of money back. I don't know how well that went. I can't remember. They go into this netherworld. They come out of the netherworld. There's big battle. The brother has been having all these visions of kind of like a great high one who's going to help, who's going to unite everybody together and stuff like that. But it turns out is he an evil guy? Somebody in there is an evil guy. Odlin is an evil guy who's trying to get the parchment, and the parchment get reawakened, and suddenly they're against the human beings who seem to be interlopers in this world, I think. God, I really have fucking no idea about this story. So I think that shows you exactly how badly kind of scrambled I have of this story. So I'm going to probably re-listen to recaps again and try and figure things out. I've tried to I've listened to the introduction, which like the acknowledgments goes on for fucking ever, and then we get a prologue, which is that assassination again, this time told from the widow's perspective, with a little bit of scene with her and her husband before he's assassinated, where man, they do not bring out the best in each other. Actually, he's really an asshole and basically runs her down really bad. And she's like, oh well, next day he'll send me a gift. No apologies, but he'll send me a gift. It's kind of classic abuser thing. I think he's basically kind of really power hungry, which is like, it's probably good that he wasn't the one put in position, because when it came down to it, the brother took a far more ethical thing, which is kind of prevented, I think, what was Odlin to kind of taking advantage of him. Oh man, I cannot remember the ins and outs of this story. I'm gonna have to try and get it semi-clear again. But yes, he gets assassinated, and it's one of these things where she's like, she's not sad. I mean, she was basically kind of like almost praying for his death there, because he really has no use for any of his children, even though his children all worship him. It's like, but well, now I'm going to maintain the memory of him as a great leader, because that'll help my people in the coming conflict, kind of stuff like that. And then we flash to what is the present in this, which we seem to be going to Kaladin's father, who's working as a surgeon under the occupation of these now awakened parchment things. Oh, and these other super scary kind of demon-like beings, the Vord or whatever, I can't remember what they are, who are looking for a guy with a slave tattoo on his forehead, dark hair, and he's like, oh fuck, that's my son. And indeed, there's throwing back hoods, and they reveal him, and he starts bringing the death on. And that's as far as I've gotten. So I think the big conundrum is, can I get a hold enough of this story to give a shit about this enough to continue on. Because yeah, if I can't remember the story, I'm just not enough of a fan to want to go back and reread, re-listen to the earlier gigantic tomes. Even though I remember really enjoying the first two, being somewhat bored with all the kind of the ether world in the number three. Is it number three or is it number two? I can't even remember that. Yeah, I might be too old for this shit. Or I might not be, into what is the real joy of this, of the intricacy and all the weird world building and all the ins and outs. It's like, I'm somebody who's like, I kind of like a self-contained story that's not thousands upon thousands upon thousands of words long, not words, pages long, that past a certain point, I just can't keep in my head. And I know, it's one of these things of like the author has to have a giant wiki and do all that. And it's like, I don't really want a giant wiki to be able to enjoy a story or to be able to kind of think about things and go, oh, isn't that cool? It's like, I don't know. So I'm starting this very ambivalently, even though I enjoyed the other ones. And I thought, okay, what the heck? I'd like a light read, because for me, Brandon Sanderson, for all his mind-numbing detail, is kind of a light read to me. But maybe I need a light read of Brandon Sanderson that's a little bit more self-contained, a little bit smaller scale. Some of his YA books have actually been good because they're sort of written on the same level, sentence level as his more complex books, but they're not bloated all over the place. It might not. One man's bloat is another man's a majestic cathedral. So, take that with a grain of salt. Yes, that is chapter 1 of a fucking gigantor book of The Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. Yippee. More videos later.